Rats. The power is out.
Oh!
Hello, floody boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about two things. Let me write them on the board for you. Today we are going to talk about therapy and counseling. Allow me to explain why. As you may recall from Season 1, this used to be what my house looked like. I can barely remember this place, because now it looks like this. I have no walls, and I have no floors. And instead of a nice comfy sofa, I have a box, and over there, in my dining room, the foundation opened up with a huge crack that exposes a fiery gateway to hell. The meteorological event Sandy, as I am now told I am supposed to call it, did some drastic redecorating to this place without my permission. My home is destroyed. I had 4 feet of contaminated flood water in here. It ruined everything I own. And even though I had sufficient flood insurance, which I bought from the US government, they refused to properly pay for the damage. Your government's flood insurance program sent an adjuster and an engineer here who determined none of this damage was caused by the flood. They paid next to nothing on my claim. Please, allow me to reiterate, this is what my house looked like the day before Hurricane Sandy flooded it with 4 feet of raging, contaminated ocean water. This is what the house looked like the day after Sandy flooded it with 4 feet of raging, contaminated ocean water. Before, after, before, after. It's just a big fucking coincidence, is what they say, that my house looks like this now. It is so shameful. That's not a nice thing to do to someone. I mean, sell them $250,000 of structural coverage for a flood and then, when their house is destroyed in a flood, refuse to pay to fix all this shit, because they tell me none of it is flood damage. Do they think I am a big enough schmuck to believe such a truckload of utter bullshit? Naturally, this makes me angry. I think this anger is healthy. Without it, there can be no change to this broken system. Yet, when I go to all these agencies trying to call attention to this insurance fiasco, so I can get the funding I am due per my policy, to fix my home, I get this instead. Watch this.
Son, you need therapy.
Have you been to counseling?
You need therapy. Do you have a therapist?
You should probably go to counseling. Group counseling.
Naked group counseling.
With naked people in a group.
Have you thought about going to therapy? Therapy is supposed to help.
There are plenty of places you can get free therapy or counseling for a fee.
I hear there's a lot of good counseling available. You should probably look into that.
Son,
Have
you need therapy.
been to
I hear
counseling?
there's good therapy available.
Therapy should help.
Now, I am not saying I do not need help. Clearly, I got problems. However, here's the thing that all these FEMA-funded groups seem to be overlooking. They are overlooking that I am not a total schmuck and an idiot, and no one seems to have this one important thing that I have. It is a little something called common sense. No one has any fucking common sense. And that is why I am going to take you through a quick walkthrough of some stuff from Psych 101. We are going to talk about some silly little thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Harold Maslow was an American psychologist who was best known for creating Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a theory of psychological health based on fulfilling innate human needs in priority, culminating in self-actualization. What he means by that is, there is some basic shit you have to take care of before you accomplish fancy shit, like living up to potential and contributing to society. Let me write that on the board for you. First, some ground rules. 1. Don't make fun of my professor outfit. 2. I have to warn you, I am no professor, I am just a cartoon. So as always, please take my next statements with a grain of salt, even though they are the absolute fucking truth. Okay, here is a diagram of the Maslow hierarchy, drawn into a nice colorful pyramid Often, people go to therapy to solve a problem. Maybe they seek self-awareness, happiness, or need to discover what it is that is holding them back from achieving their full potential in life. This level of functioning is called self-actualization. You can see that is at the top of the pyramid. To get to the top of the pyramid, you need to first satisfy the basic needs represented at the bottom of the pyramid. Go ahead, I will give you a second to read the hierarchy. You are welcome to take notes. A human starts at the bottom of this hierarchy, and works his, or her, way to the top. These first things, on the bottom, include the basic stuff. Like, breathing, eating, sleeping, peeing and pooping. Maslow calls this the physiological level. If you have achieved that, you can now work your way up the pyramid to fulfill your next level of need. Level 2 is called the safety level. If you can eat, pee and poop, whether you do any of that stuff well or not, as long as you can do it, now you need a place to do it safely. Maslow says your next level of need includes a home and money, so you need your house. Aha! Look at that. One of the most basic needs required for all of our psychological health is the safety of a home to live in. So, if your house is full of mold, and makes you cough, and doesn't have proper plumbing or heat, and you are either living in it or you are displaced, and have no idea when you are going home, or if you are going home at all, or where you will be staying from month to month, or where you will be living next year. Or you have fixed your house but now you are deep in debt and can never retire. Maslow says you are fucked. You are fucked and cannot move up the hierarchy to get to the fancier needs that are normally attained with the help of therapy. You need safety and you got no safety, people. Safety is the priority. Not belonging, or self-esteem, or self-actualization. Before you can think of any of that, you need a safe home. I happen to agree with him. This seems like very basic, common sense shit. When you watch documentaries of people living in unsanitary conditions in third world countries, without clean water, you don't also see them whipping out their iPhones, and Googling to see what Dr. Phil thinks. All they care about is keeping the rain out of their hut so they don't get mold. And where they are going to get water from, they can only focus on safety. A safe and healthy home is the priority. So you can see now, maybe, why therapy is not my priority. My priority is getting walls and floors and plumbing. Where the hell is the funding for that? The next level up the pyramid is love. A guy with a wrecked house is just not very sexy. Plus, at a certain point, I might start to wonder, do I really like her, or am I just going over to her place because it's warm? I won't have the capacity to measure up my real feelings because my need for safety is lacking. I am pretty sure I would dig that cough angel under any circumstances. But thank God I met her before the figs lady. According to Maslow, a guy desperate for a hot shower might take a fruitcake chick like that up on her offers. That takes us to self-esteem. Forget about self-esteem or self-actualization. I can't even look that far up the pyramid. It makes my neck hurt. Allow me to give you a better visual. I am stuck down here. Stuck, I say. I have the misfortune of having a third world problem in a first world country, and if I am ever going to make it back up there, I need my safety level back. But thanks to FEMA. See? I know exactly what my problem is. All these agencies are throwing money at therapy. You can't fix a third world problem with a first world pansy moron group counseling session. All anyone talks about at these sessions is how there is no real help and no progress. Can someone explain how a therapist can get me out of the physiological level? Is the therapist a secret millionaire with a construction company that rebuilds houses for free? Or maybe the therapist is an engineer who can design my helical piling layout. If the therapist is either, sign me the fuck up right now. According to this prioritized and widely accepted model of needs, that would certainly help improve my psychological health. It might even cure my PSSSPSD. That stands for post-superstorm Sandy stupid people stress disorder. My brain is so fried by having to spend tons of money and months documenting proof that my house was destroyed in Sandy, when you can see, very easily, that is the case, with the 2 fucking pictures I showed you at the beginning of this episode. Surveys, and 6100 forms, and elevation certificates, and cost estimates, and engineer reports, and inspection reports, and soil tests, and substantial damage letters, that paid employees lose, over and over again. Oh yeah, I must be the crazy one. I must be the mental one, because, I'm just like, here's 2 photos? They say it all, so, why isn't the insurance paying my claim? Maybe I just can't accept the facts that my own government fucked me. And that now they are torturing me with New York Rising, because acceptance of the facts is way up there at the top. And I've been stuck down here since October 29, 2012. I don't want to believe my government officials are so opportunistic that they would turn every disaster into a jobs program to temporarily improve the unemployment statistics, so they can make their party's term seem more successful than it really is. I don't want to accept that it is permissible for tax-paying citizens to be ripped off by the government flood policies, and be told there is no money, while there is plenty of dough to help the irresponsible Wall Street people who ruined the entire global economy by creating the mortgage crisis. AIG executives use that money for spa treatments on the beach at a corporate retreat. Meanwhile, I have to shower in a sink with cold contaminated water. That's not fair. My flood insurance should pay to fix that. The government took my premium and gave me a contract that said they would do that if this happens, and no one cares that they did this. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot I can do from down here except for wait to see if the system eventually takes me back, up a notch. I don't understand any of the bullshit that is going on. I know many people feel the same way. I am really tired of pretending anything going on here makes sense. And I am tired of people all over the country scowling at me that I shouldn't live on the water and I should have bought insurance. Educate yourselves. I didn't live on the water, and I had more than sufficient flood insurance coverage, but your government made sure to fraudulently deny the majority of my claim. Fuck all of you in the peanut gallery. Climate change is coming for you too. Then, because you didn't help me take a stand now, the same thing will happen to you. So, I kind of think, until my house is fixed and I have my safety back, all the therapy in the world won't help me. This isn't how things are supposed to work. Responsible, premium-paying policyholders aren't supposed to be punished, while corporate crooks get whatever funding they need in the snap of a finger. Believing that does not make me crazy, or broken, or in need of psychiatric help. It makes me a normal American citizen, with an expectation that a contract is a contract. In my humble opinion, it is our political leaders that need some therapy and counseling. They are all nuts. Power-hungry, lying, media manipulating, nuts.
Hey Sandy victims. I promise you no red tape.
Get back here, you son of a bitch.
Again, I am just one guy. And Maslow. Well, he is just some other guy. So I guess, we are, 2 wild and crazy guys, and just because we think I need to get my home in order so I can function normally again, doesn't mean you have to be like that too. You are free to try and defy the basic principles of human psychology all you would like. So if you want to go to therapy to see if it can help you do that, by all means, do it. I would just prefer someone gave me the money they are spending on group therapy programs so I can buy a toilet, because, for real, my attitude is not the problem. The problem is the attitude of the people managing this disaster. The problem is I have no toilet and no walls, and no place to take a shit in peace. So, if it was up to me, I would tell all these agencies to take their therapy and shove it. I am pretty certain that positive thoughts and sharing my emotions will not seal up the dangerous fiery hell pit in my foundation. How come no one else seems to understand this, telling me I need therapy, when I am pointing out a legitimate widespread problem of corruption, that is affecting my entire community, is an insult to my intelligence. Ooh, there's no funds for construction, But we have therapists so we can talk about your feelings. Oh, woe is me. Want to know how I feel? I feel like America has become a country of politically correct pansy-ass idiots. This first world help is not useful. It may help me, psychologically, if the insurance adjusters who did this went to jail. How can we maintain a civilized world if this kind of corrupt behavior is permitted? Then you get flooded and they raise your insurance premium and you are forced to pay it, even though you know it doesn't cover anything. That sounds like mob protection money. Who runs FEMA? Is it Tony Soprano?
The truth is, this therapy is a jerk-off. You know it, and I know it.
Even Tony Soprano knows better. Maybe he really should run FEMA. Then at least I know there would be gabagooland pastries at the resource fair. We need common sense. Common sense before therapy. And some FEMA reform. NFIP reform. Something. I don't know. I'm just a cartoon. I would like to thank all of you in my little cult following for watching. It helps me to know you guys get it. And we can all laugh at this stupidity together. All I can do is see and point out the obvious. And that, everyone, is the best therapy. And I don't have to go anywhere to get it. And it's free.
Hey, Tony. Do you want to come over to my apartment and hang out? We can look at fantasy bathrooms on Pinterest.
Hells yeah, that's my girl. She takes care of me.
If you play your cards right, you might even get to needs level 3 tonight. Even though your need for safety remains unfulfilled at level 2.
Screw Maslow. I'm out of here. Class dismissed.
See ya on the flip side, Floodies.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.